I'm Kate Rossmanith. I'm an author, an essayist and an associate professor at Macquarie Uni, where I teach creative non-fiction writing. I think one of the reasons I love creative non-fiction is that it allows me, the way I use it, to make sense of experience. And I don't just mean, my own experience, but that too, but other people's experiences too, or I try to make sense of the way other people make sense of their experiences. Another reason I think is that creative non-fiction really makes interventions into the world, or it can, and it has to do with the way that the form can speak to both minds and hearts. I think it really can make people think and really make people feel at the same time, and it's to do with the way you can manipulate the poetics of language while using rigorous research and factual accuracy, so you can reach people, I think, on a whole range of different levels, and also explore topics both affectively and intellectually at the same time. So I'd say my approach to writing has to do with knowing what time of day I best write. So I think that's really important for young writers, as soon as possible, to start to find out what kind of writer you are, not only what genre or form you like to work in, but also actually what time of day you like to write. Like, when is your writing brain most alive? For me, it's about 5 or 6 in the morning, for maybe until about 11 a.m, and then that's it. I can't produce a particularly great sentence after that, so I don't bother trying. So if you nominate which part of the day is your best writing time, and really guard that time and use it, knowing that that's your time budget, for writing. All writers not only do lose confidence, but actually think should lose confidence. I think if you are not feeling doubt most of the time, you're not writing well. And I don't mean, I think doubt to the point of paralysis is obviously unhelpful, but healthy doubt daily is actually what makes the work any good, because it means you're continually testing the work. You're looking at it for its limitations, and you're trying to find ways to understand those limitations and strengthen. Some of the ways that if I lose confidence, let's say halfway through a project, I might decide that I'm just not going to look at the piece of writing for a little bit. I'm going to go back to my research and just go back and look through the research I've done, see what holes or gaps there are in the research, do more reading, interview more people, go and do more field work, get into some archives if I need to do some archival research. So you go back to doing research, I think, and also read beautiful literature. So if you read the work of writers who you love, you get inspired, and you just suddenly get excited again by their use of language, and you then can start to find the roadblock that you experience starts to open up a bit. I also actually have a very practical exercise I do when I have writer's block, which is that with a notebook and a pen, I set a timer for 3 minutes, and I do an exercise called What I Really Want to Say Is. And I set the timer going, and for 3 minutes I just keep writing the phrase over and over again: what I really want to say is, what I really want to say is, what I really want to say is. And about the 4th or 5th time writing that phrase, something starts to come out. And then when that something that comes out stops, I start again: what I really want to say is, what I really want to say is. And I just keep doing that exercise as fast as I can for 3 minutes. And I think somehow it overrides the doubting part of your mind, and it is a kind of main line into more creative or forward-thinking ways of being or something. And so it's just a way to kind of unlock maybe the next set of passages that you need to write. So the way I make decisions about what details matter in forming a narrative has to do with me, it's back to this question of doubt a bit, me continually asking myself and the material, what is the job of this narrative doing? What do I want this, in the insertion of this narrative, to do in a more larger conceptual way for this piece of writing. If you could write a narrative that, you know, goes for 20 pages when really you just need that narrative to take up maybe 400 words or something in a piece. So what do you do? How do you condense it? What bits do you select? And I think you can only make that decision once you understand what the larger objective of the piece of work is doing. So to all, Year 12 students who are doing their HSC this year, just very best of luck, and as much as you can, enjoy it. Enjoy the experience, and if you get some interesting prompts in the sorts of exams that you're being asked to write pieces for. Think sort of as much as out of the box as you can in terms of all the different ways that a particular prompt might stimulate thoughts in your mind, I guess, like all the different directions you could take something.